What's up, Wizards? It's Dev, aka the Smooth Sayer from Mtg, where the magic happens, baby. And you know what? It's just a few weeks now until Kaldheim spoilers and previews start rolling out. And I don't know how you feel about it, but honestly, it's about time for a new set to come out, in my opinion. I know you could say, and I think I have multiple times, that in terms of diversity and number of decks and all that, Standard's in a better place right now than it's been in a really long time. But I nonetheless feel a little bit of the old fatigue setting in on me. So I'm really excited there's a new set coming out and we get to talk about it. And what better way to fill the time between now and spoiler season than to talk about some predicts, son. 5 predictions, as a matter of fact. This is how you make a YouTube video. For Kaldheim, which I will probably call Kaladesh at least 3 times while recording this, and I'll have to edit it out or whatever. So get ready for that. I'm really bad about mixing these 2 sets up, and I don't know why. But I nailed it so far, right? We're going to Kaldheim, baby. So let's talk about, again, this is totally how you do a YouTube video, but let's talk about 5 predictions that will probably not happen in Kaldheim. But Foist, if you would just, like, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff right now so I don't have to tell you to do it again later, even though I probably will, then go ahead, just do that. It would mean a lot to me if you did it. I know more people watch this video than a lot of my other videos. So first of all, welcome back. And second of all, I'm still doing a lot of YouTube content. And to be honest, I'm doing some of the best work in my career. Check these videos out. Links in the description. They're really good. I'm broke. Watch my videos. But anyway, let's go ahead and launch into the Kaladesh. I did it. The Kaldheim predictions. I've already done it. We're 3 minutes into the video. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it with number 1. And I need you to be prepared for this. And I'm not sure that your mental state can be adequately prepared for this, because this one is a big one, y'all. And I know it's really far out there, but that's another YouTube rule. You got to start with your most shocking information first. Hit it out of the park to keep those viewers in. And it's probably actually the opposite of that. In terms of YouTube theory, you want watch time. So all your best information should be at the end of the video, and you should keep alluding to it to keep people watching the video. But I'm not that kind of YouTuber. Anyway, YouTube theory is neither here nor there. This first one, though, is probably going to be the biggest brain take that you hear on the internet all day. You're going to be like, no way, Dev, that'll never happen. Yeah, it will. Number 1, I don't know why I'm doing this bit. Snow permanents are coming back. Yeah, it was a bit the whole time, in case you didn't catch on to that. Yeah, I'm sure you probably heard this one before already, because it's really hard to escape this take. Even I, who have purposely tried to stay away from like leaks and rumor mill discussion and really anything about Kaldheim, have still not been able to escape this take whatsoever, because if you just scroll through Twitter for a couple of minutes, you will see a Magic player say that Snow's coming back in Kaldheim, and honestly, they're probably all right. Now, from what I've seen, people's reactions to the idea of Snow returning has been kind of mixed. I think all in all, from my read on it at least, there are more people that are psyched about it than not. But I get the argument for why people don't like Snow permanents in general, just in terms of the design of them, because why would you not just run snow-covered basics instead of regular basics? Are they not strictly better in any environment that they're allowed to be played in? And I think that's a compelling argument, but I think it's less of a point than it usually is when people make that argument, especially in the upcoming Standard, where you have pathways and temples and triomes and castles and crawling barrens, field of ruin, whatever, plus modal flip cards, Agadeem's Awakening, Amiria's Call, stuff like that. So you just have like less room in your deck for basics a lot of the time than you have in the last few Standard environments. There's just a lot of non-basics going around. You do have Fabled Passage to help you get your snow-covered lands whenever you want to, but you also have to work Fabled Passages into the mana base and still have room for those snow-covered basics. So, even though we have things like Evolving Wilds, Fabled Passage that make it easy to get our snow-covered lands right now, I still think you have ultimately fewer slots for snow-covered lands than you have in just about any environment, Standard environment at least, that they've been available to play in. So there is that, opposite side of the coin at least. But all in all, I'd be really excited if they brought back Snow, and I think that it's probably easily the most likely thing to happen of anything I'm going to say in this video. Now, I think we can dovetail nicely from number 1 into number 2 here, because I just brought up MDFCs, and I know it's already confirmed that not only will there be MDFCs, modal flip cards like we had in Zendikar Rising, in Kaldheim, but I'm pretty sure it's also already confirmed that we're going to be finishing the cycle of pathways from Zendikar Rising, right? The Golgari one, the Rakdos one, the Azorius one, so forth. They're all going to be in Kaldheim to the best of my knowledge. Now, here's where things get a little different, though. My prediction is that most of the MDFCs that we see in this set will not be lands. As a matter of fact, I'll go so far as to say that the only lands in the MDFC cycles this time around will probably be the pathways, or maybe the pathways in like one other cycle of lands, but that's it. I highly doubt they're going to give us lands, first of all, because there were so many of them in Zendikar Rising. I just don't see them giving us too many more and saturating the format. But I also think that, again, not only is that design space kind of not dried out at this point, but you don't want to keep continuing it into this set and Strixhaven, because we already know there's going to be MDFCs in Strixhaven as well. So the thing is, I think that they're probably going to fit some sort of theme, these MDFCs in every set, right? Like, for instance, in Strixhaven, I'm fairly certain that they're going to be just spells on either both sides or on the side that you flip into. They're just going to be spells, instants and sorceries and stuff. In Zendikar Rising, we had lands on the other side of spells and creatures and whatnot. Whereas I'm fairly certain that we'll get something completely different to both of those things in Kaldheim, and that's kind of where my number 3 prediction comes in. This really dovetails from number 2. That's how you use that word properly. But anyway, equipments, ladies and gentlemen. I think that there's a fair amount of, telegraphing that's been going on that says that we're going to get a fairly equipment-heavy set in the next couple of sets, and I doubt that it's going to be Strixhaven unless there's a bunch of wands and staffs and whatnot in that set. But I think that it's a place like Kaldheim is just tailor-made to be an equipment-based set or plane. And I think there have been a number of signposts in recent sets to suggest that we'd be getting an equipment-based set in the near future. You got stuff like Core Blade Master, which is an awesome card, by the way, but it really wants you to play with equipment. It also really wants you to play with warriors, and I would imagine most of the Vikings in this set are going to be creature type warrior. So that works well together. But anyway, not only does that work with equipment, but also things like Resolute Strike, Nahiri cares how many equipments that you have. So I think that we're going to need to have a set that has a fair amount of equipment in it to kind of make some of these cards pop off the way Wizards might want them to, especially mythics like Nahiri that are, really important characters to the story and stuff. So you might want people to be excited about those cards and retroactively sell Zendikar Rising packs. A good way of doing that would be to make her much more relevant by printing a bunch of equipment in the set. And I think this is a good way or a good plane for doing that. And honestly, back to number 2, I think that MDFCs would be a good way of doing it too. You can print 2 cards in one. You don't have to waste kind of subpar equipment. You don't have to give that subpar equipment a whole card slot within the set. You can put a decent spell on one half of it, and then a situationally decent equipment on the other half, or the other way around. A decent equipment and a situationally good spell on the other half of the card. But one way or the other, I think that's probably how they're going to play it here. Not only is there going to be a fair amount of equipment in this set, but I think a lot of the MDFCs are going to be based around, maybe an artifact or a spell or a creature on one side, and then equipment on the other. Now, number 4, kind of a weird one, I know, but bear with me here, because I know there could be tons of different creature types on a Viking plane, right? You could be thinking there could be horses on a Viking plane. Maybe there'd be dragons on a Viking plane. Like they do like a Game of Thrones thing. They love doing that. But what creature type do you guess this entry is about? What do you think? What do you think, Gus? That's right. Dogs. That's right. You, Bubba. You, puppy. And this is Gus, by the way. I don't think he's ever been on the channel before. We've had him for like 8 months now. Hey, bud. You doing okay? He's never been on the couch before. He's like slightly freaked out. It'll be all right, buddy. But in any case, it turns out that Vikings did, in fact, keep dogs as pets. They had a very special relationship with dogs. I've looked on Wikipedia at things, and Vikings love them some dogs. And you know what? You know who else loves dogs? Magic players. And we need some dog support right now because we got the pack leader guy, we got Boldhound, we got some cool dogs, but nowhere near enough dogs to make a real dog tribal standard deck out of. And I think it's about time that we got another 4 or 5 awesome dogs in a set. And honestly, if you I'm surprised by this, but it turns out Kaldheim is kind of the perfect plane for that. You've been a good boy, guys. But anyway, and yeah, that was a real entry. I think there's going to be a bunch of dogs in this set. Good dogs, I promise. Good boys. But anyway, number 5. This is probably the actual most shocking one, and probably the prediction that's actually most likely to be way off base and just untrue and a dumb prediction in the first place. Even more so than the dogs one. But number 5, seriously, please prepare yourself for this. Number 5, no format warping mythic. Now, in some ways, this is a prediction. In other ways, it's kind of a sneaky direct challenge to Wizards because first of all, let me give you some credit so that you'll feel really bad if there is one in this set. I think that you've learned your lesson after right. You can tell I'm doing a bit here. After throwing a Beldrain, how many cards you have to? I've kind of lost count of how many cards you banned from that set. After banning Euro, after banning Omnath, after banning at least a card from just about every set that's come out in the last few months, except for Core Set, although I think some people want you to ban Ugin. And I'm on the fence about it. I think it's possible that you could. But in any case, after having to ban a card or 2 or 5 from nearly every set that's come out in the last year, I'm going to give you some credit, Wizards. You've learned your lesson, and there is no way that you've actually allowed a ridiculous power level 35 when all the other cards have power level 6, card to be in this set. You have learned from your mistakes. You've decided not to do that. You've decided not to. Now, conversely, maybe Wizards, you've already printed the card. Maybe the card is in the printer right now, and it's going to get sorted into boosters soon. All right, maybe that's possible, but it hasn't quite hit the printer yet. Well, if you have, then what you should do is not print that card. I don't have the power to make Wizards not print good cards. I want them to print good cards. I just don't want them to print broken cards. So yeah, Wizards, maybe if you've got a card that is going to be the focal point of the entire set, and you can't play Standard without it, and it's going to cost $30 right out the rip because it's just obviously the most powerful card in the set, and it's going to take over Standard for the next 3 months until we force you to ban it. How about you just don't print it in the first place? How about you just do yourself and all of the rest of us a favor? You just don't print it. So whether they've learned their lesson or they take my advice, which they totally will not do, my number 5 prediction is that somehow, some way, finally, there will not be one format-defining card that completely takes over the rest of the steez of this set. Aside from that, Vikings. There's going to be Vikings. That's another prediction. Pretty sure you can count on Viking set. Gonna have some Vikings. But aside from that, I think this has actually got a lot of potential to be a really cool set. I like the setting. I like the idea of snow coming back. And again, I think that's a almost guarantee at this point. So please do something really cool with that, Wizards. I think you could do some cool legends in this set. Obviously, we know Kaya is coming back. That is one thing we do know, is that Kaya will be on this plane somewhere. And I love Kaya, so please give her like a decent card. I guess the 3-mana Kaya was pretty good, but make an even better Kaya card. I love Kaya as a character, so do that. I know that people have their own thoughts and wishes and hopes for this set, so let me know down there in the comments section what all you want to see out of this set, what you think is going to be in this set, all that stuff. And I think sooner or later, I'm going to have a video coming out, like the top 10 reprints that I want in Kaldheim. So don't worry. We'll talk more about Kaldheim. I'm going to milk this set before it comes out. But either way, I hope that this was at least like an interesting watch for you. And again, go down there in the comments section. Let me know how you feel, what you want to see from this set. Aside from that, I told you to do this at the beginning, but twice, second time's a charm, right? Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, especially if you haven't been here in a while. I know these videos are quite popular, so watch my other videos. They're really good. They are so good, you guys. I make good content, I promise. I'm in my own house, bobbing my own head to my own beats right now, but I know for a fact them videos right there is good work, so check those out. But aside from that, if you want to help the channel out and have a little bit of agency around here, then just go to the link in the description, check out the Patreon, just $1 a month to get started, $1 a month, and you can vote on what content we do, $5 a month, get a signed card this month. I usually do, I send people a card from the newest set. I just buy a box of newest sets, sign most of the cards in there, send them off to people. But this time for Crimbus, if you're already a $5 patron, I'm going to be sending off a card from my personal collection. So you might get cards from 1996. Everybody, that's my Christmas gift to the patrons this year. So you get something from Dev's collection. But aside from that, $10 a month, and you might show up on the Twitch streams as a deck doctor. So if any of that sounds interesting, check out the Patreon. Again, I'm broke. I need help. But aside from that, I just really hope that you enjoyed the video. That's why I made it. So, let me know. But aside from that, I guess I'm done. So I'll see you with some more content. And of course, if you want to watch me play Magic on Twitch, it's twitch.tv/SPMTGDev. Hit the link in the description. Totally free to follow on Twitch. Do that for me. That'd be cool too. But aside from that, we'll see you later, I guess. I'll catch you cats later. That's how I do this. I'll catch you cats later. I'm done from the place. Thanks for watching, my wizards. Spread love and be kind.